Hello, special beings, to all you amazing star seeds and wayshores and lightworkers and galactic shamans. I welcome you. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you have not watched Your Magnetic Being, please watch that because this is going to be Your Magnetic Being Part 2. Today we're going to discuss the law of attraction and how I view it because I never studied it, but I just understand that it is the presiding principle over this planet. It is the presiding law, and different planetary systems have different laws, and all of them are woven into this one, of course. But if you can successfully learn how to apply the law of attraction in this life, you can have an abundant life. You can have a life filled with joy and harmony and peace and excitement and love. And so today we're going to talk about how your personal power is the source of how you manifest. And as soon as you give that up, as soon as you turn your power over to another being, or to another place, or to another situation, anything that's outside of you, you are demagnetizing your vibratory field. You are restricting your ability to draw to self what it is that your heart truly desires. Okay, so think of it like this. You have your personal power, and when you're embodying that, when you're upholding that higher frequency of sovereignty, of authorship over your life, of carrying your authority as a divine being of love and light, then everything starts to get drawn to you. And then the second that you are in the column of disempowerment, then you're going to start pushing people away and pushing situations away because you, quote unquote, stink. Your aura is not aligned, and people can feel that, and they're going to be repelled by you. It's almost like being around this toxic energy, even though you may not be toxic, because you're in this holographic reality, and we're just going to use that today. This reality is very real, but let's just run with the holographic reality right now. We're going to keep it in that context. Because you're not in your alignment, because you're not in harmonic alignment with your higher self, there's almost like this dark mist around you. And that dark mist is felt by others. It's palpable. And some people can consciously detect it, and some people just feel icky. They're like, oh, I don't want to be around this. And so I'm also going to tie into this video why it is that your relationships haven't worked out in the past, and why you may not have received what it is as a purpose that you're meant to do here on this planet, or why you may have any discord or dissonance in your field or in your life. When you're in a relationship, okay, and you've gone on a couple of dates, and now you start to get wobbled out of your alignment, and all you do is obsess about this person. When are they going to call me back? When will I hear from them again? Are they still interested? These are all questions that you're posing that are relative to an external focus. Anything that is externally focused belongs to a third dimensional grid or a fourth dimensional grid. The fourth dimension is a bridge that allows you to cross over into unity consciousness. But the fourth dimension is where the astral realm lies. So when you're in the fourth dimension, you're confronted with all of your shadow aspects. You're confronted with other beings sometimes that want to kind of throw you off your stool, your vibrational stool. You're confronted with all these different things, and it's kind of like being a blind man or a blind woman walking or treading this unknown territory. So it can be very discombobulating. It can be very alarming at times because you don't know where you're headed. You can feel all these critters on you, all these energies. But once you make it to the 5D, New Earth reality, you see how that was part of your training. It was almost like a spiritual boot camp that was prepping you to understand that there are no enemies, that your worst enemy was yourself, or other aspects of yourself that you didn't want to reconcile with, that belong to a linear past, another incarnation, or maybe to a future timeline. And so once we start to move into unity, we don't discredit the fact that there are other beings in the universe. If anything, we start to become friends with them. We say, hey, I know that I used to perceive you as demonic because you kept implanting me with all these fearful, intrusive thoughts. But I now understand that through that I surrendered, and you played a part in my expansion as a soul. So once you're unified, you start to see how every aspect of yourself that was rooted in separation, in division, before you arrived into 5D, you start to see that every aspect that was segmented, every aspect that was fragmented, was drawing to you a match so that you can further empower yourself. Further empower yourself. And thank you all for your donations. I really appreciate it. I am shooting this pre-recordedly, so I'm imagining some of you have already donated. I just want to let you know that I'm in the chat room saying hi. We work quantumly here, and I just got a vision that someone donated. Anyways, so the reason why a lot of your relationships failed is because you got rolled up in this fanciful reality of what you wanted that relationship to become, and you lost your footing. So in other words, you got swept up into all these possibilities, which weren't inaccurate. It's just that as long as you're incarnate, as long as you're encased in this physical body, mastery is and will always be about being anchored in your present moment awareness. And when you're anchored in your present moment awareness, it's at that point that you can be really present with everything that's going on emotionally, and you cannot integrate emotions or other aspects if you're not present. You cannot. So, you got rolled up and swept up into all these timeline possibilities. You got overly excited, and then you started giving your power away. You started relying upon a phone call. You started relying upon them being at your beck and call. And your energy started getting directed outwardly, which is you wasting vibrational currency. Okay? I see that my video is going a little slow, but that's all right. Probably have to reboot this computer. All right, so whenever you siphon off your energy, no one's doing that to you. So these people aren't deliberately trying to hurt you. They're being responsive to the frequency that you're pinging out. And I always say the frequency that you ping out, the frequency you ping pongs back to you in human form or in physical form. So the frequency that you ping pongs back to you in physical form. Now, we're going to go really deep today. The people around you, like these men that you've dated, women that you've dated, jobs that perhaps didn't hire you, it's not that they're aware of what's going on of that psychic activity. They're not aware of it. But they're being signaled by your higher self. Follow me. They're being signaled by your higher self that you're no longer in your power, that you're no longer in your alignment. You're not sitting on your throne anymore. You've abdicated your authority. So whenever you abdicate your authority, meaning that you get off that throne, your higher self doesn't care about what you want. Your higher self cares about what your soul wants. It wants you to get back to your true purpose, which is to be anchored in your present moment so that you can integrate the light of your soul, so that you can integrate these other dimensional aspects that are trying to return to you. You know, we've been fragmented for so many incarnations, and so what we're doing in essence is bringing those fragments home by recalling our power, by remembering who and what we are, and then integrating that information, right? It's not unlike when you go for a meditation and you are in a Kundalini state, you're feeling very activated, and your brain feels like electricity. It feels like it's going to explode because there's so much light in your brain, in your body. and your container is holding all of this light, and it may not be able to compute what it is, but that's okay. It's still information. And as you allow it in, it will unpack. It's almost like receiving packets of thought, packets of energy, and then it will naturally unpack itself throughout your week. And you'll receive new downloads, new realizations, and you'll go, and that's a version of integration. You're integrating new information. Okay? So you may not always understand what your meditation meant. It just felt really ecstatic and really blissful. But it doesn't matter if you don't fully understand it just yet. Just accept that it's there and try to take heed of why. Try to take heed of the greater picture, meaning that let's kind of do a parallel right now. Let's draw a parallel between you and this person that you might obsess over. You may not understand why they're not reaching out to you, just like you wouldn't understand why or what you're feeling in your meditation. But the key is to integrate why, to take heed of the message that lies in that dynamic, okay, for you to then be able to integrate that information. So for instance, you don't hear from someone, they start pulling away. Okay, cool. Don't get so fixated on that you keep giving your power away. The thing about giving your power away is it's kind of like a downward spiral. Because I don't know about you, but when I've been angry in my life or when I've been sad, you start to then magnetically draw other thoughts that are also sad. So if you're oscillating at a frequency of 3.2, you're going to start to attract other frequencies that are oscillating at 3.2 or within that range. So when you're in a bad mood, the reason why it's so difficult to get in a good mood is because you attract all these horrible scenarios that are responding to your vibration. Your higher self is always in the mix saying, hey, you're out of alignment. That's why this is happening. We're trying to bring you back. But most humans go, oh my God, this is terrible. And they feed into that lower frequency. And then lower frequencies beget lower frequencies. And it starts to grow like a fungus. And so it's difficult to see the light when you're at the bottom of the barrel or when your vibration has plummeted. It's very difficult. But once you start finding that pocket, I call it my pocket, or once you start to find that sweet spot, and you've been meditating for a long time and you've been working in concert with your guides, with your higher self, with God, Creator, Source, then it's a lot easier to locate that sweet space or that sweet spot and reposition yourself. It's a lot easier. So your relationships may not be working out because not unlike when you feel crappy and you invite more crap, when you're feeling disempowered and you start thinking that this person isn't interested or that they're ghosting you because you did something wrong and you start to feed those thoughts, you're only going to push them further away because they're intuitively going to feel or unconsciously going to feel that you're even more disempowered than you were before. And why? Because your higher self is working through everyone and everything 24 hours a day to remind you that your prime purpose on this planet is to remain in harmonic alignment with your higher self. The second that goes out the window, your higher self doesn't care about what you want. Okay? So I want you to start imagining that every single emotion that arises in you and every thought that you attract is there to help you become a magnetic being. It's not there to try to harm you. It's not there to punish you. It's there to inform you. It's showing you, hey, we are here because you now have an opportunity to integrate us. And if you start to place your attention on why we're here, then you will be able to receive that software update. Are you following? So an example, you're in a grocery store line. The line is really long. You're getting impatient now, right? You're starting to stomp your feet, bang your fists a little bit. I want to get out of here. that is an emotion that's floating up to the surface to be integrated. It correlates to a trauma or to a traumatized aspect of yours that you've never reconciled with, that you've never resolved, that you've never given love to. And that aspect of yourself is frozen in time, and it keeps trying to get your attention. It's like, hey, daddy, mommy, please integrate me. Please integrate me. And when you get so impatient that you have to leave the line, you've just missed your opportunity to integrate. If you were to say, oh my God, like I'm in a lineup, it's long, and that's perfect because it'll give me the necessary time I need to breathe through this emotion, to give it love, to calm myself, to anchor myself in my present moment. See, the thing is, that very thing that's coming up for you also correlates not only to a past, it correlates to a future that will be a lot brighter for you if you're willing to be present with it. And we don't think that way. Most humans don't think that way. They think very linearly. Oh, I just need to get home to feed my kids. I just need to get out of this lineup. It's too long. But if they understood at a core level that if you were willing to be with that emotion, you've just bridged all the gaps, and now you're going to be more magnetic. You're empowering yourself. You're not shunning or rejecting these aspects of yourself or these fragments that are trying to come home. Okay? If, let's say, you want to be a motivational speaker and you're not working on your speech, but there's an aspect of you that needs to be integrated before you become that motivational speaker, then it would be sensible to focus on that, right? Because it would allow you to bridge the gap that's separating you from that timeline. And then once you bridge the gap and integrate that information, you would naturally switch into that timeline. So all of these timelines are happening simultaneously. We don't see that because we haven't really plugged into our multidimensional technology, to our multidimensional communication system. That multidimensional communication system always has information available to you. You can even look for it. You can search for it from within, and there's always work to be done. Okay? So the main thing I want you to take from this video, your lovers, the interviewers that didn't give you that job, they were being signaled by your higher self and their higher self, because we're all one, that you were not taking a strong vibrational stance, that you were starting to sign your power of attorney over to them, and their higher self and your higher self let them know, hey, this person's not equipped enough, they're not strong enough yet. Now, do I believe in a version of Earth where we're going to move past all of that and we can actually communicate about what's going on and not penalize each other as humans? I'm not saying your higher self, because your higher self is always giving you that opportunity. But when we're going to stop penalizing each other as humans and have open conversation, I believe in a version of Earth like that. That exists. But where we currently stand as a collective is that if you're not embodying your personal power, your universe is going to keep reflecting that back to you. Because there are degrees to mastery. And first you have to master this level so that you can fully unattach yourself from outcomes. And once you're fully unattached from outcomes and you fully grasp that you are the divine creator being of your reality, then you can move into that next level, which is like, let's just always be transparent. And let's not penalize each other for feeling a little disempowered right now. If anything, let's uplift each other. But the world will not treat you that way because, again, it's a holographic universe. And it needs to mirror to you what you're doing to perpetuate your own disempowerment. It has to. So your higher self is omniscient, it's omnipotent, it's everywhere all the time. It's watching you. And it loves you. And sometimes things don't always go your way because you're still giving too much importance to that thing that's outside of you rather than redirecting your focus within you. Every time you step out of your body, every time you step out of your alignment and you chase people or you chase dreams, there's a frequency that's external to you that's magnetizing you. All right, so you may want to jot that down. There's a frequency that's external to you that's magnetizing you. So in other words, that frequency is your master, and you're its servant. That would be akin to a celebrity who is owning their power, and they have all these assistants running around them. That's because they're the dominant frequency, and those assistants need something from that celebrity. So they're gravitating to that celebrity. Not everyone, right? Once in a while, you'll have that assistant who's like the Merlin to King Arthur. That assistant who's like on an equal playing field, and the celebrity knows that. Some celebrities will love that. Some celebrities won't like that. They just want worker bees. They want servants. They want energies to serve them. Like we all should. All of us, right? As a master, you want energy to be your servant. But remember, you can be the master of your reality. You can decide that this video is going to empower you to the extent where you no longer put the remote controller in someone else's hands, that you're going to assume authorship over your life and authority over your life. And that's why I don't have goals. That's why I don't have human goals. Because I know that by being present with every single detail that's happening to me, by being very present with my breath, by working with my imagination, I'm actually preparing all those timelines, or any timeline that wants to arrive forth, that would meet me at the level at which I'm oscillating. But I'm not going to diminish my stance or dull my glow to chase after something to then get approval. We have to stop looking for that seal of approval from people. Can someone take you under their wing? Yeah, they can. And then it would be up to you to decide, okay, I got what I need and I'm out. But most people don't have that wherewithal. Most people are like, oh my God, I bow to you, I bow to you, I bow to you, I put you on a pedestal. And that's very disempowering. So you want to become that magnetic resonance that can draw anything to yourself. Anything. Okay? I do this exercise sometimes when I meditate where as I'm breathing, I imagine that there are like millions of little fairies or millions of little beings traveling through my breath, kind of like a straw if you were to drink and like the liquid or the soda or the water comes up, but then you see all these little particles in there. So as I'm breathing, I'm connecting to every single particle. I'm viewing every single particle and I'm acknowledging them. I'm like, I see you, right? And what that does is it allows me to energize every single aspect of myself that has ever existed, that is existing, and that will exist. I'm acknowledging every single thread, every single string, every single aspect, every cell within my body. As they travel up through my breath, I'm like, hi, I see you. Yeah, hi, cool, great. You know, it's amazing. It's kind of like those Christmas movies where all the kids are leaving and the parents are putting a hat on them and then a scarf on the next one. And that's what I do in my meditation. And when you know that you have that amount of power, that you can access every single reality within your now, then you stop chasing altogether. You know, I was saying today that if you were part of the Ascended Master Club, they would never say to you, oh, you have a goal? That's great. They would say, what the hell's a goal? What's a goal? You only need goals when you're operating within the third and fourth dimension. Right? When you have this idea that you have to pack everything in within the construct of time. That's so limited and that's such a linear way of thinking. Once you segue yourself into the fifth dimension or you move into more of a fifth dimensional landscape, then you know that it's all here right now. The entire universe is at your fingertips. So all you do is continually work on amplifying your magnetic resonance. So that's what I do every night. I create more amplitude within my field, more amplitude, and I'm feeding this like construct. It's like a galactic construct that's getting so magnetic. Another way to view it is like I'm magnetizing or I'm energizing my pineal gland, and now my pineal gland, my guys actually show me it looks like a crystal. They showed me that I have one of the crystal skulls, and we all have this ability, but it's such a magnetic marble or such a magnetic crystal that it can pull worlds. And so you have to know, you have to have this utter belief in yourself that you don't have to move a finger. All you have to do is really hone in and foster these abilities. So that's my overall message today, is that if you find that things aren't going your way, if they're not working in your favor, they are working in your favor. Your higher self is always working in your favor, but your linear mind is going to think that the world is against you because you haven't yet tapped into your third eye. Once you have your third eye open, you will see that every single thing that happens to you is a gift. Because you wouldn't be inviting in that contrast unless you were meant to expand further. Contrast is here to serve you. Okay, you wouldn't be expanding. Expansion would not exist without contrast. They have to go together. A woman who's in labor has to push and go through those contractions in order to have that baby. She's giving birth to new life. And once she has that baby, it's like, it's an expansive feeling. Okay? And I don't need to be a woman to know that, because again, once you have access to all these different dimensional planes, to all these different essences, all these other beings, whether that be lions or dragons or fairies, then you're very, very empathically attuned. You're connected to all things. So try to examine what it is in your life that's not going your way, and ask yourself, how much energy am I directing outwardly? Well, if I'm doing that, it's demagnetizing my field. It's restricting my abilities. So I need to fold that back in, okay, and pump it up, 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 and know that you're this divine god or goddess who can attract anything she wants. And that doesn't make you evil, by the way, okay? Like, for instance, with this crystal skull, while I'm energizing it or electrifying it, while I'm using that divine masculine to pump it up, I'm actually imagining that everyone in the world knows who Phil is. Okay? And I can see it happening. And then I say to my guides, download that into people's subconscious and download it into their conscious so that that can be a reality. If my agenda was to then manipulate people, I would say, yeah, that's pretty evil. But my agenda is to have them find me so that I can say, you were always this creator too. We're all equal. So you get to dabble in magic. You get to play with this. And you will very quickly see that your reality is responding to that. I'm telling you. It's beyond us, sometimes beyond our grasp, what we can do, what we can achieve, what we can, and I don't mean achieving in a human sense, okay? This is about getting rid of human goals and starting to think like a master. Energy is serving me. In order for energy to serve me, I need to master myself. I can't just eat ice cream all day. I need to master myself. I need to meditate. I need to work in collaboration with my guides. I need to understand energy. And you will quickly see how much the universe starts to bend in your favor. It's unthinkable. And yet it's so natural. It's not even supernatural. It's what we came here to do. We are these angels that arrive from the non-physical realms to anchor the angelic light that we are into these physical bodies. That's what we came here to do. And everything that happens to you, good or bad, is part of a dualistic construct. Everything that happens is for you to then integrate and anchor that angelic light into your body. And when you do that, your DNA unlocks, your entire field becomes magnetic, and now you don't have to chase anything anymore. So I hope this message helped you, and I will see you in another version of the Now. If you'd like to donate, I really appreciate it. Your support means everything. It motivates me. It encourages me to keep providing you with more messages. My link is feelgoodlife.com/donate. feelgoodlife.com/donate. I will attach a link below. Thank you guys again. I love you, and I will see you soon.